much closer series than what we're seeing from JDG, and honestly just showing a lot more signs of life.
I definitely agree. JDG, though, going to be on blue this time, and like I said, I was wrong in ban pick in Game 1. This actually is Zoom's most played champion so far this split. They are going to opt into just taking that one away right off the back. Rogue Warriors now going to take away the Lee Sin and also still keep Xiaohao on the Diana, so we know we're going to be seeing this Lee Sin in a solo lane. We have seen both Forge and ZWuJi play it. Forge has been the one to pick it up most of the time, though, when Rogue Warriors do go with that one. And now for JDG, the Aphelios is open. They're hovering it right now. I think it's the expected pick. Aphelios has been the go-to AD carry when he is left open, and we are once again going to see this Tahm Kench pick come out, but I mean, you know, it's most likely a support. I guess we can see Kanavi pick up the Gwen, so there is still potential that you have Tahm Kench in the top lane, but I'm still just not a huge fan of early or blind picking Tahm Kench. I feel like he definitely has a place in this meta. We've definitely seen his strengths, but not something that just fits outright into every composition.
Yeah, I feel like it is a pick that you can pick into things when you know what's in front of you, when you see what the lay of the land is, and you go, cool, I'm not going to die in lane. I have ways of getting ahead in this matchup. Doesn't really feel like something you can just blindly throw out there, as we do see Rogue Warriors now landing in some of these bans. They're going to ban away the set themselves, as we see the Kalista banned away from Betty. And again, this is pretty spog standard. You've got your entire top side for Rogue Warriors set up and ready to go. Just get good matchups. You gave up the Gwen, that's fine. You're happy taking the Camille into that. Just give yourself and give your, Forge on Lee Sin good setups, and I love this ban as well. You take away the Zoe, something that Yagao has, again, argue that, a lot of people would say is the best Zoe player in the world.
Definitely showing glimpses of that. I would like to see Rogue Warriors go for an Ashe here rather than a Jhin pick. I think Ashe can be nice at just being able to guarantee yourselves prio through the W, through the volley that you're just able to spam. We have seen Betty go towards that one a few times. He's actually played both of these champions with a bit more success on the Jhin. I feel like historically, I think of Betty a little bit more of an Ashe player than I do a Jhin, though. Has gone through phases of everything back when he was in the LMS on Flash Wolves. And on the opposite side, we're going to see the Galio and Nocturne combo come out from Kanavi and Yagao. So going to have more, I'd say, emphasis on looking for these mid-jungle plays. You would expect Nocturne to be in the jungle ever since the nerfs that came out. He hasn't really been much of a laner in terms of being able to guarantee prio, but we still have seen him sometimes, so realistically, can go anyway. I do like the mixed damage coming out for them to opt into that one. And Rogue Warriors on the opposite side, keeping it tried and true, a ton of dive, a ton of backline access, and a lot of individual playmaking able to come out. I do think with the Galio and the Gwen, though, JDG have more tools to be able to try to kite out the initial dive from Rogue Warriors and take a team fight. So much closer from draft this time around than in Game 1, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you have a lot more options available to you on JDG. You have a very clear, definitive double global composition that is set to say, right, you try to jump on Gwen, you try to jump onto Aphelios, we have ways of dealing with you. We have ways of defending against you. And especially when I'm looking at the Galio, I'm looking at a big AoE ultimate that can knock up a lot of people, maybe even set up for a big needlework. Who knows? But for Rogue Warriors, like you said, very, very much in their comfort zone. They love dive comps. They love playing this style of composition. Very similar enough, actually, to something that we saw OMG running earlier on in this split with the style they go with. And it's going to be on JDG to find the answers to it. As Rogue Warriors, they're going to be coming off of this at a high. They're feeling pretty good.
And the thing that's different, because I really like the point you just made about OMG to Rogue Warriors, is that I feel like when you see OMG do it, it's a lot more about putting the dive and emphasis onto Cream and having all the other members on champions that can emphasize that. Maybe not necessarily all dive in at the same time or at different points, but for Rogue Warriors, that's what I feel like they do. You take a bunch of champions that don't necessarily need to combo up. They're very individualistic in how they play, right? Camille, Lee Sin, these are types of champions that find agency on their own, and then it's just about finding the engage. So a little bit of difference in terms of how they play, but I'd still say very much the same bloodthirsty edge between both teams.
Now, I think the big thing as well, you're looking at Rogue Warriors as well, they have a much more definitive way of singling someone out with that Hextech ultimatum than they maybe had in Game 1. We'll have to see how they're able to make it all work and run as we jump onto the Rift. Rogue Warriors now maybe got to be caught out as the Dustbringer does not land, as Kanavi just seeing if he can catch someone out. Zoom, though, going on a little bit of a mission, bit of a covert op setup here as he gets himself back up towards the top side. I think he just recognizes that he doesn't want to be caught out on the enemy side of the jungle. So Zoom now going to walk into ZDZ. I actually think that ZDZ is going to be in a little bit of trouble here as he does get the extra W, extra bit of range, and backs himself out. So Zoom now Zoom controls the bush.
Zoom with a really nice trade coming out from that one. Should be able to get control of the lane, which he would have been able to regardless, but now definitely going to be in control of that one. As we do see LvMao going for the Hail of Blades, Tahm Kench, so much more aggressive with the trades that you are wanting to take. You are up against the Leona, so can get in melee range and find a lot of those aggressive options. For JDG, I think a big question in my mind is having a more competent draft enough? Having this Galio that can buy space, having the globals available to pick sides, maybe take down ZDZ a few times in the early game? Or is JDG just, shell-shocked from the results they've had this split and not going to be able to bring it together once again?
Yeah, just a quick note, actually, I just noticed it there. We see both junglers starting Raptors, going down to Krugs, and we actually saw this little bit of a development from the jungle pathing meta, if you will. And I think the main reason behind it, I'm not going to say I'm 100% an expert on it, is that you just get your buff for longer. You get those double buffs once you're able to do that full clear for a little bit longer, so should you end up in a skirmish, either top or bot or wherever way you're pathing, you end up in a little bit of a better situation to say, look, I have both buffs, versus usually if you go from buff to your camps and then clear up to your top side or your bot side, you do tend to lose out on the first buff you just took.
There's a few different perks to doing it right, that definitely being one of them, but another thing is when you are on these full clear junglers that you're not going to be looking to do anything pre-6 anyway. Just getting those camps cycling faster, hitting that level 6 breakpoint even sooner is going to be a big deal when you have two compositions that both have so many options available to them once they hit level 6. The Hextech Ultimatum being what we hit on for ZDZ, the ult on Yagao for, when that's available, looking to make these side lane plays. And Zoom already getting nice trades over ZDZ in this top half of the map. So junglers pathing to opposite sides going to play around where their prio is to guarantee those early scuttles and hope for no shenanigans early on.
Gonna test your League of Legends knowledge. When did you join the League of Legends crew? Were you a beta? Were you an alpha? Were you season 1?
No. I was end of season 1, beginning of season 2 person.
Ah, okay. Would you believe me if I said that there was an item in the game in the beta called Bag of Tea Leaves? And what it used to do was that if you got a kill, you couldn't activate it if you didn't. If you got a kill, you could activate it and it will restore health and mana to you. Would you believe that if I told you it?
Yes, because it just sounds too ridiculous for it to actually not be true. So, definitely a lot of ridiculous things early on. I'm going to pause on my point, is Galio finding the taunt.
He just found the taunt, but Kanavi is not going to get the Nightmare down, so it should be easy enough for Xiaohao, and Forge to be able to back up. And now Kanavi going to find his Raptors being taken right now. It is going to be pretty easy for the Diana to do, and this is why it's difficult to take a Nocturne into this matchup. The Diana just has so much skirmishing power, as I say that. Kanavi getting jumped in on by Forge. But yeah, they take away the Raptor camp, they're able to push in the priority. It is pretty much bog standard setups and what we expect to see from each of these matchups.
The big thing to me in that exchange was mid lane, because Galio, you definitely are something that's gated by your cooldowns, right? Not too useful if your taunt is not available. Sure, you have Winds of War, which is on about a 10-second cooldown off the top of my head still, right? Not something too often as compared to Lee Sin, which you're still going to be outputting pressure with your autos. Your cooldowns are significantly shorter, especially coming out with your E. So going to be able to provide a lot more if a 2v2 breaks out around those Raptor camps than something like Yagao at that point, who is also gated by mana as compared to Lee Sin with his energy. So a lot that Rogue Warriors are able to do with the fact that Forge will be able to keep up prio. So Forge staying true to what he said in the interview is great. But, I think one of my favorite times was Season 3 and beginning of Season 4 when we had things like Deathfire Grasp and every champion had like a ridiculous AP ratio. I think Gragas' ult was like a 1.6 or something like that. And yeah, everyone was just one-shotting everyone. I specifically remember EU LCS Season 4 when you had Super Hot Crew and Millennium and all those teams. And yeah, I just remember every game people were getting one-shot by Gragas combo, LeBlanc with Deathfire Grasp, Ziggs was in the meta, you had Nidalee and her spears still back then. Those were ridiculous yet funny times.
I remember as well when they removed Deathfire Grasp and everyone went nuts, and then Riot released the statistics on it and said, out of everyone that has bought Deathfire Grasp since its inception, only 30% of people use its active to use on any way. Like it was a real like kind of thing of like you just bought it because people said it was OP. You didn't actually, people didn't know actually how to use it, and that when you use the active on it is what gives you the extra damage. It's not actually, you know, the passive of it itself. Strange times, strange times.
Flaming the player base, Penguin. No respect for the community, as you know, JDG also not going to have much respect for Rogue Warriors as they're making their way down. They do have push in bot lane, so it makes sense, but Xiaohao is here.
Oh, they're going to go in with the Zenith Blade. QiuQiu not going to have the big old... Oh, I was going to say a big old Moonfall comes down. There's the ultimate from the Galio and the Nocturne to try and jump back in on top of this, but you just can't get anything back off it. Now with Forge here, you use an awful lot of your ultimates to try and get off of this. The Q lands right between the sticks and does land on top of Tahm Kench. 2 kills for Rogue Warriors, and you've committed 2 big globals for JDG.
Also, just initially trading AD carry for support, I definitely think Rogue Warriors are happy and fine with that one. Like you said, 2 big globals going down, a ton of summoners on both sides, but even Rogue Warriors winning out in the summoner trade, only utilizing Xiaohao's flash, if I do believe, as QiuQiu going to be the one to start it off, and then LPC just walking in. I don't know why he didn't expect Xiaohao to follow up on that and look for the play. We are going to see the Nocturne Galio combo follow through to try and get something back. But then Forge finally able to make his way down, and they're going to be able to pick up another kill against JDG. As, we have a gank in top lane.
We do have a gank in top lane, but it is an Ignite and Needlework Zoom, so he's going to be able to get himself back.
He got Gwen, Penguin. He got Gwen.
He did get Gwen. I was wondering why we didn't see the Moonfall come out from QiuQiu, but or wasn't. Yeah, QiuQiu's not on. I
was going to say
QiuQiu
does not have
he's playing Leona. Well, it is a Moon and Sun combination, you know. It is the Leona Diana combination. A lot of lockdown here as we do have LvMao roaming up to defend his top laner. Yagao is roaming as well a little bit, but the threat of a Galio randomly appearing is very, very much diminished when he does not have his ultimate available. So Rogue Warriors feeling confident just to walk out of that one.
And Rogue Warriors going to be able to get away scot-free. Rift Herald is up, so that's what both teams are playing around right now. Rogue Warriors not feeling like they can go for it. Ultimates are about to be back up on their side. You already have the Moonfall available. The Lee Sin kick about to come up as well. I think Rogue Warriors could have postured to contest this one had they wanted, but I think with the fact that Aphelios is up here and Jhin's still on the bottom side of the map, they don't see Zoom. They're like, we don't know if they do have 5 members stacked. We're not going to go for it. Sadly, not in a position to trade on the opposite side, though, and maybe get 1 or 2 plates down in the bottom lane for Betty.
Yeah, not quite yet. We'll get a lot of free time just to try and CS. As I say that, he misses every single one of them with his bouncing bomb, just not quite getting the damage execute off on that one there. So is actually going to be about 10 CS or so behind, as we do see JDG now pushing up towards this top side. And it was very difficult for you to answer this as your rotation from Betty is very, very, very late. QiuQiu is going to be by himself. I don't know if they can really go for a full dive, but QiuQiu is not going to be able to do much of anything to try and stop this turret from going down.
I mean, if JDG knew where all the members of Rogue Warriors were, they could 100% dive QiuQiu right now. QiuQiu, I think, is playing on a nice edge with just assuming that JDG aren't going to look for it, but Betty was nowhere close. You have no teleports up on the side of Rogue Warriors. Everyone else is on the opposite side of the map, and they're going to be able to guarantee that this Herald at least gets a second charge. Rogue Warriors answering for Dragon on the opposite side, but JDG opening up a respectable gold lead.
First Dragon does go down for Rogue Warriors, as we do see the Rift Herald finally gets its second charge off. This is just total control on this top side of the map here for JDG. They don't really have anyone to worry about or to be afraid of, because they know that just about 5-6 seconds ago the Dragon was taken and Forge is in the mid lane. So there's not really that much of an odd-numbered skirmish happening for them, and they obviously they would assume that they are tracking on those teleport timers as well.
But now there are no neutral objectives up, so nothing for these teams to really fight over. Rogue Warriors will have a window right now with the fact that Forge pushed out this lane, so they can look to turn to top right now. JDG have a lot of wards in the top side jungle, so you'd expect them to be able to back off in time. Gwen's not showing on bottom lane wave, so JDG actually playing this sequence out pretty well of not giving Rogue Warriors a play to make with their timing. So now we're just going to go back to ping-ponging waves back and forth. Reset's going to come out. JDG going to be on the map first. So now we're going to see if JDG can set up a window to come out. But with the fact that Yagao is continuously getting pushed in, I feel like that one will be quite rough. Does have the ultimate available now, though, so doesn't have to move too far to be able to make a play onto a side lane.
Just thinking about all the different items that have gone out of the game. Were you playing the game when Puppeteer was an item?
No.
Puppeteer was an item that I believe, again, I could be getting this wrong, but I believe it was that it would pull marked champions, the 250 or 200 or whatever units was towards you or something like that. So it would basically like just try and drag everyone closer to you. Again, very, very early on this item was, and a little busted on how you kind of set it up. But it was a fun item to watch. It was very... I would have liked it as an ability maybe for like, you know, like a Fiddlesticks or something, or another string-based champion. Would have been fun.
Oh, you know, almost like an Urgot ultimate.
Yes, but not as ridiculous. Not as ridiculous as this engage. We're going to go in. They're going to get the paranoia off. And they're going to try and get the Galio ultimate as well. They have the paranoia down, so there's no real vision here for Rogue Warriors. It's a close skirmish. I feel if that Q lands, you can maybe go for it. Yagao goes forward. Forge goes back. And now the rest of JDG can start to maybe look to get a little bit more advantage here. Chocho, I don't think you're going to be in much danger against the Tahm Kench, but you need to be a little bit careful. Gravitum into the Moonlight Vigil, forces out the heal. Is it enough?
Oh, and he gets it!
LPC perfectly knowing the damage numbers. Thumbs up. And this is JDG back in control of this game.
You know, getting something back for his mistake earlier where he did walk too far forward, punishing Betty, who we've already highlighted. Betty, in my mind, has probably been... Oh, wait, I'm going to pause. TP coming out behind Zoom.
Oh, Zoom doesn't know what's happening yet either. They're going to jump straight in on the Hextech Ultimatum. He's got the needlework, but it's not going to be enough. And actually, as I say that, he's finally going to lose the W as they jump straight back onto him. Xiaohao takes that kill. Pretty much anyone getting that kill would have been fine. So that's a good response here from Rogue Warriors, but they will lose a lot of gold in this bot side as they just haven't had anyone to respond to this.
No, I mean, this has been their strong start of the map. And going back to my point about Betty, though I think Forge has showed lower lows than Betty, I think Betty has, like, consistently been the worst performing member on this Rogue Warriors roster, you know, just highlighting all of his performances across the board. Definitely being nowhere near he was, like, in 2018 when Flash Wolves made that good run at MSI. And it looks like they're going to get Dove again.
Yep, they're going to maybe get Dove as we see the flash there by Betty. He has to get away from the Dustbringer. Get that latched onto you, you're just not going to be able to survive whatsoever. The extra AD steroid it does give to the Nocturne is pretty substantial. And we have a look at the replay as we can see down this bot side. It's just Betty, honestly, just going a little bit too far forward. I think he thought he had a little bit more damage in his tank and wasn't respecting the potential crit that could come out from this Q.
Yeah, I mean, Betty didn't respect. So actually another critical thing that happened was once the Gravitum came out, that's what surprised me when Betty walked forward. I don't know why he did that. Got himself locked up. His Fortune was about to come out, and LPC was still very healthy, so you would now be locked from not being able to auto-attack, and it sets up for LPC to get that play. So Betty was the author of his own demise.
Yeah. You're not a poet or a trickster or anything like that, but I saw the critical thing there when we were talking about crits. You know, I see you. I respect the hustle there from you, Lyric, and your ability to bring puns into things. You know, you're honestly the funniest man I know. Like, you're just constantly cracking jokes.
You know, the fans don't know this, but I consistently call myself stale bread in our story meetings. But
you do.
You know, it's true. You have people like Hysterics who show up on broadcast with the chef's jacket out of nowhere, and then you have people like me who talk about the game and then awkwardly sit in silence when one of you guys say something ridiculous, and then I make you feel awkward, and then here we are.
It's funny.
But guess what, Penguin?
It's funny to me about that though, because you love the stupidity of it. You love Hysterics and him randomly just getting an analogy out of his house where he turns around and says IG are like a pineapple, like that. But you'll never contribute to it. You'll only just sit back and relax as the rest of the guys go for it. It's just such an interesting duality, in my opinion. As we do see the Dragon going over in favor of JDG. Rift Herald was traded though for Rogue Warriors, but while that was happening, we saw the bot side just being basically left on its own little island. And this feels like LPC just really punishing Betty on this Jhin pick. There's nothing they can do, and they've already made that lane so dangerous.
You know, Penguin, in the words of Hysterics, this game is like a cake on a windowsill.
Elaborate.
You know, he didn't elaborate when he said it, so I don't feel like I have to elaborate.
No elaboration needed, as we are waiting to see now.
5K gold lead.
Yeah, well, it's about a 4K gold lead if you can do maths correctly, so, you know, shame on you. Slap on the
I can't. But, you know, finally talking about the game, right? Mythic's out pretty much across the board. I think feels pretty nice, especially for the side of JDG, where you look at Kanavi's items. Already making his way towards the second one with sitting on the Phage. So combo is also available between both Kanavi and Yagao, so can look for one of those picks. Look at the minimap. Yagao's already starting to make his way down towards this mid lane as well.
Yeah, looking to see if they can go for something off of that. And the mid lane being down, or up, I should say, for the moment on the side of Rogue Warriors is a bit of a saving grace. It gives them an extra bit of safety, and it is the most difficult tower theoretically to take down, as you do have a much shorter lane to go towards it. Betty already taken out a half health. There's some great guns available for LPC. And even with
they're gonna look for the trade now, but look at Forge.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Forge
there's a ward, Pink, where there's a ward.
There is a ward right on top of Forge, as Betty does take the Moonlight Vigil to the face. He's going to have to back himself up. Betty he's not dying a lot. Yes, he had that 1v1 kill that he lost out to, just to an unlucky crit against him, but it is getting to a point where this Aphelios is just doing so much more than this Jhin can, and the Jhin will not be relevant for a very long time.
No, he's going to have like a really hard time doing anything in this composition. Luckily for him, I feel like Betty is the least important part of this combo. Xiaohao, really nice engage, but LvMao saving LPC.
And this is why I like this composition from JDG a lot more than obviously Game 1, is that there's an awful lot more answers to what Rogue Warriors are doing. And they've taken the lessons from Game 1 and said, okay, take the rap on the knuckles, we screwed up, like, you know, it happens, but JDG have come out and shown that they have learned. They know how to deal with this a little bit more effectively. They've got, you know, advantages in jungle. They've got advantages in bot lane. They know how to, and they don't even need the advantage realistically in mid or in top, because the Camille can't really do a huge amount against the Gwen. It's kind of a 50-50. They cancel each other out as such, and then the Galio is just a team fight bot. You don't need to be doing anything crazy in order to make this Galio pick work for you. You just get an item or two on him and he's golden.
I feel like the big thing that JDG added was just like ways to deal with the dive from Rogue Warriors, right? Because you have the taunt for if Xiaohao and CDZ come in. You have Zoom, who have Zoom's position in front of you with that Hollowed Mist coming out, you know, using the needlework. Going to be very awkward, very hard to dive in. Aphelios much better at playing around these types of situations as well. So you're not only relying on the Tahm Kench and a random Trundle Pillar like you were last time around. There's more variety. And then you also have the aggressive options with both Galio and Nocturne. So having more ways to not only peel the dive, but also dive onto the enemy backline yourself, as Rogue Warriors going to put down this Herald. Maybe it gets a charge, but still, Rogue Warriors aren't going to get anything off of this. Not even a charge, as, ooh, that one was close, but still, you can tell Rogue Warriors pretty desperate at this point in time. For RW, I mean, it's rough, right? Because I think ideally right now what you'd want to do is use Xiaohao to find a pick on bot side against Gwen. But we've seen just how ridiculous Gwen is, how hard it is to bring her down. Chocho, once again, looking for the engage. But man, JDG can just peel off of it every single time.
Yeah, they really, really can. I will say for Rogue Warriors, that is still a win. You get the Devourer out versus just a Zenith Blade, so there was no commitment of the Moonfall, there was no commitment of the Solar Flare, so you have an opportunity now. You have a window now where that ultimate is down, but it's already at such a short cooldown. You can see it just ticking away that they're going to have to make it move pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're going to have to pretty much burst someone outright. Is Chocho not in a really great position here. Forge does have teleport.
Here we go. They're going to jump in with the Paranoia, trying to get on top of this Jhin, but oh, that fourth crit! And now with the Jhin at such a long distance, they may be able to prime pepper these health bars down. Here we go. 4-man Moonfall jumps in onto the backside. They're going to try and jet onto LPC, but he's got the guns to keep him sustained and alive. But look at the health bars. There's nothing left. It's all on LPC, but no, he will fall. It ends up being a quadra kill for Xiaohao, and he keeps Rogue Warriors in the game.
And Xiaohao completely saved that play. Sure, you know, it might have been Kanavi going in a bit too far and getting bursted out right away, but JDG were still the team with, like, advantage in terms of health bars. JDG could have been the team to look to turn that fight, but Xiaohao just finding the perfect setup to lock all members down sets up Rogue Warriors for taking that fight. Still going to be at a goal disadvantage, but...
I know, but what... I was gonna say, what did I say? The lack of a Devour, the lack of safety you have. I feel like if you get a Devour, you get out with the shield on that for LPC. You probably take that fight. As I have a look at the replay on the pro view now, and it's just Xiaohao playing this so well, so patiently.
Yeah, waits it out. Still does have the ultimate available. And then, I mean, a bunch of tools just going down for JDG. You can see LvMao having nothing, but just that angle, just the timing of it coming in to set up the rest of his damage dealers, right? Forge being able to follow in. You had the curtain call following up the whole time. Just such great play coming out from Xiaohao. But JDG, we come out of replay, they're on Baron!
They're already on the Baron, but they gotta back away from this. The TPs are gonna be committed. They're gonna try and burn this one down. They know that Diana's out on the backside. They're gonna use a Paranoia to try and keep this one going. It's down to about 2,000 HP. Zoom goes in. It's stolen! Xiaohao gets another one and a kill off the backside of this. LPC trying to see if he can turn this fight around, but look at Zoom. He's dead. The Jhin untouched on this fight. They're still pushing. They're still prodding. They're still looking. Xiaohao goes down. The Devour has to be used on the LPC, but I don't think there's any way you can get out of this one. This Benny gonna be doing so much damage. LvMao not able to get the knockoff. Triple kill for Forge, and everything goes Rogue Warriors' way.
And Penguin, why don't we have 11 spots in playoffs? This Rogue Warriors team is so exciting. So many Baron steals today. Xiaohao coming up so big. Forge in that ending team fight as well. Seemed like he had the Gore Drinker proc up once again, able to take down multiple members. And let's remember, JDG are the team that just accelerated this game from 0 to 100 by forcing this Baron play. We're going to see them come in initially, and they get some good damage onto Xiaohao. This force brings him in, but still, he's the one who's able to pick up the Baron with the fact that other members of JDG are forced out of the pit. We see Chocho locking down numerous members. Sure, the Diana does go down, and even Chocho is forced away in the end. So this is pretty much a 3v3 with how low Chocho is, but Forge finding a way to go in. They follow through with Betty's damage, and then ZDZ able to get some lockdown at the start. I think it was onto the Tahm Kench. LPC comes out of the Devour from LvMao, and then we saw right there the Gore Drinker proc from Forge to help finish off a lot of those members with the E.
And you look at, we just mentioned it was a 5,000 gold lead in favor of JDG not only 2 minutes ago, it's now equaled out. It's actually ahead, 500 gold for Rogue Warriors. Look at the items they've just picked up. You've just got the Zhonya's and the Morel Nomicon finished up alongside that Hexa Proto Belt for the side of Xiaohao. You've got Forge now onto 3 items. You've got Benny on the 2.5. He's equal up with LPC. This is a big swing of momentum here as Rogue Warriors. They may try and get this Camille out. Should be totally fine. As I say that, they're going to commit everything to it. There is the Hextech Ultimatum to try a little bit of time. It's a good pick off here for the side of JDG, but Gwen died on the top side apparently, and that's just how that one changes.
Yeah, so JDG at least could be able to answer in the mid lane, so getting a little bit more than Rogue Warriors are actually out of this map play. Xiaohao not in position to answer either, and Rogue Warriors are very behind on the recall, so bit of a misstep coming out from them when they're the team with Baron. They're the team that should be able to, you know, push the state of the game and the map forward, as we do see on the bottom of our screen. Just, I mean, Zoom getting caught out by multiple members of RW, and Gold gonna stay exactly even.
Yeah, and actually saw the picture-in-picture replay there of how Zoom got caught out. I think he thought he was safe just to sit in the lane. He was waiting to see what would happen, and the paranoia vision kind of proximity just wasn't enough. He gets caught out by a Q. Immediately, you see Forge get behind him, get him to kick back, and it was a very, very quick kill, very easy kill. As Zoom's not had a great series. 0-4, yet to get a kill in this game. I'm going to triple-check myself to see if he got a kill in the previous game, but he's just not had the performance that we honestly expect from this man.
I feel like, and this is not to give excuses to Zoom, because I definitely feel like he's not had a good split by any means. But, I mean, the thing is, I feel like this meta is very hard with the champions that you have in play to, you can first of all see he's nowhere near as comfortable on these champions as he was on, like, last year's, right? On the sets, the Orns, the Nars of the world. And then I think a lot of champions right now on top, they thrive with the tension, and that's just not something Zoom gets. So it's like a combination of not playing well by any means, but it's like exasperated by the fact of how JDG plays for sure.
Yeah, it ended the last game on strong roll 0-6-6. Definitely not a positive win or KDA, as we now see The Rogue Warriors moving towards this dragon. It is going to be sole point for them. JDG want to try and deny this for a little bit longer. They do not want this one to be a setup for them. A Zoom goes in over the wall to try and take down Forge. Forge, though, pretty damn tanky at this point in the game as they go in back onto the dragon. Solar Flare lands and forces the cleanse straight away from LPC. There's a good Moonlight Vigil. He doesn't really have great guns for this fight right now. He's trying to just play on the range. And we can see the paranoia going on the backside, but deleted is Kanavi. They will take away the dragon, but a Moonfall onto 4. And there is the curtain call to bring down the show onto JDG. LPC is the only one who can really turn this one around, but he just can't do it. It's another multi-kill fight for the side of Rogue Warriors. They gain 5, they lose 1. Yes, they lose the dragon, but honestly, they could look to end the game.
Yeah, and you know, someone just give an award to Xiaohao because, man, these Moonfalls are so clean and so clutch coming out from him. An absolute stand-up performer. And this might be JDG ending the LPL on a 6-series loss streak.
This would be huge for Rogue Warriors, but they're not going to take the game just here, just yet. They're going to take an inhibitor. They're going to back themselves up. They want this win. But let's have a look at this fight because it starts off with Kanavi going in, but there's no follow-up.
Yeah, I mean, your comp's not built to follow. Like, who else jumps in other than Galio, right? The other members. And you could even see Dragon so low. I'm actually just scratching my head at why Kanavi even decided to follow through with that ultimate. Sure, maybe you take down Chocho, but that actually wouldn't even matter for JDG. Sets up for that beautiful Moonfall that we did highlight. And then, as LPC, you're just left between all the members of Rogue Warriors. There was nothing for you to do that point in time. Xiaohao coming out with exceptional performances. Kanavi leaving us with some question marks.
Yeah, honestly, this is looking pretty dire now for JDG. They've got their base cracked open, so there's always going to be that threat with a Camille and a Lee Sin being able to TP in, so they've got to be very wary of that. Baron will spawn in just a second, as there it goes. It's up now, but you've got 3 items. I actually love this from the side of Betty. He's going with the Serpent's Fangs to just try and take away this shielding that LPC is going to be getting, because he knows that if he's able to get one good crit off onto this Aphelios, he's dead. There's nothing he can do.
Yeah, and you're right, you have shields on like other members as well, so it does make sense, even the items coming out so far. So Betty gonna go with that, just a cheap item. I need to stop going on about this Penguin. We see Rogue Warriors controlling the Baron side of the map so far. I think it makes a lot of sense. 3k gold up right now. Even ZDZ, who we are showing on our screens now, I think going to be feeling really strong. Shouldn't feel too bad about sitting in a side lane anymore alone with Zoom having no way to lock him down. But for Rogue Warriors, we know the play. Probably going to try and bait Baron, look to bring JDG out and look for this engage. Both top laners do have teleport.
Both top laners do have teleport, but you can see Camille just using this priority now to get that standing gold on the turret on bot sides. That's going to be the 5th turret of the game, equaling out JDG. And ZDZ is not really under any pressure right now. He can keep pushing forward. He's got the stopwatch as well, so if he ends up being very much jumped on as an odd-numbered skirmish, he can still go into stasis by a hell of a lot of time. And it's a pretty quick Baron for the side of Rogue Warriors. We mentioned it earlier. Everyone on their team, bar the Leona, is a damage dealer, is a threat in these team fights. And they've shown that throughout the game, just being able to pick out multi-man stuns and multi-man kills as Forge. Feeling very, very confident to move forward on that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess not too much ways to lock him down for the side of JDG. And, you know, with all due respect, not to flame, I don't know how many times I've seen a support with like a less than 50% kill participation, as we see Chocho, who I highlighted a lot in Game 1, only sitting at 8 assists right now.
So quick!
Yeah. Rogue Warriors, they might be able to. Oh, they might
gone.
find a turn.
It's gone. They're gonna go and try and go for it. Paranoia comes in, but it's just a little bit too little, too late. You can see the kick already been used. There's a solar flare down. They're gonna try and use the Devour and the Galio ultimate to try and get into it. But here comes the curtain call down and raining hell onto everybody. There's just so much available still for this Rogue Warriors squad. They end up picking up 4. They lose none. They've got the Baron. They're gonna barrel mid.
Yeah, they're just going to keep pushing forward. And like we said, Rogue Warriors are going to be the ones to cause JDG to end the LPL on a 6-series lose streak. Absolutely insane after thinking about 2020, but great job, Rogue Warriors.
Rogue Warriors now going to take a 2-0 victory. Kanavi even being chased down by Xiaohao. This is personal. This is, I want this kill as the better jungler. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to matter. In 2-0 fashion, Rogue Warriors dispatch JDG and will finish their season 5-11.
You know, I know in the last hit, it was pretty unanimous that the rookie of the split was Cream, which I think we all still agree with, right? No doubt in my mind. Xiao didn't even play the whole split. But man,
I wasn't asked. You know?
I wasn't asked either, Penguin. So to be
know.
fair, I chose not
it.
to be there, so maybe I don't deserve to be salty. But point is, I think Xiaohao definitely puts himself as like an honorable mention, right? Because man, the fact that this guy changed Rogue Warriors so much, and then comes into this game where, seriously, like, okay, I definitely think Forge played incredibly well in the Lee Sin, but it's like he was single-handedly changing fights with this Diana. It was crazy to see.
On the ultimate was just spectacular to watch. Honestly, it really was a different breed of jungler. And this is someone you need to watch out for. If you're a fan of the LPL, you're looking for the next upcoming talent, you're looking for someone to support, Xiaohao is the man to be watching. And it's great to see. Even, we talked about the rookies of the split, and you talked about Cream or Creme, and, you know, however he likes it to be pronounced, I'm sure we'll find out eventually off of him. But Xiaohao, Creme, like, these are the new generation of players, and it's just so encouraging to see that we're not just riding on the coattails of either, you know, ex-LCK or old school LPL players. We have new development coming in.
I mean, we have lots of development, right? You see ZDZ's hair, tons of development there. Absolutely metal with the mullet, and Xiaohao, just exceptional. You're right. Just LPL talent is there's such a plethora of it. It makes sense, right? When you just look at the factors that would put LPL being such a dominating place, the player base is so large. You have so many different levels of play, even just going beyond LDL to things like, you know, TGA, city cups, like school teams. There's so many different factors to it. So always great to see. And for JDG on the other side, man, it's just still crazy to just wrap your mind around the drastic fall of JD Gaming from one year to the next. Heck, even in spring, they made it to playoffs, and I think they got decently far. I think they got the round before top fours when they lost to FPX, so it's just such a big fall.
Yeah, it really, really is. But we're going to talk about Rogue Warriors for a little bit longer, and our man of the Rift, MVP, Xiaohao. It had to be Xiaohao. This guy on this Diana, you just can't give it to him. I know it's a little bit too little too late to say that now, but this Diana pick is very much showing. He understands it so perfectly.
He does. I mean, the windows, the angles of when he can go in, they were just so perfect to see, completely taking over team fights. This is the big one that's going to stand out to everyone, because this is where JDG had a 5,000 gold lead. No matter the drafts or picks or anything like that, JDG should have been in a position where they could have kept pushing this one forward. But one perfect angle coming out from Xiaohao completely turns the tides. And then after this, Rogue Warriors just really never relented. They always found the engages. It was always Xiaohao being the one to set it up. And even times like this, stealing away objectives was the name of the game. Some exceptional jungle talents coming in today in the LPL.
Yep, really, really well done. And of course, with that win, Rogue Warriors lift themselves up to 14th in the standings. So that's, you know, it's got to feel good. You're the best of the rest, in my opinion, in terms of the bottom four. And a lot of positivity to go for them. And yeah, for JDG, it is an unfortunate situation. They went from 4th in the regular split in spring to 12th now in the regular split in summer. It has been a catastrophic nosedive into absolute oblivion, and where it's going to be, I'm going to be very, very curious now coming into next year. How does this team, who is on this team stays, who leaves, how do they, you know, change this? Do they keep faith? Do they change it up completely? There's so many questions now for this organization.
Yeah, questions that realistically shouldn't have really been there, right? At the very least, securing a higher standing, you know, maybe justifies keeping certain pieces together, but now just everything's up in the air. Still, we've seen the highs of some of these players being incredibly high, so I don't ever want to count anyone out, because I just don't believe players overnight just get worse at League of Legends, right? So for JDG, hopefully they bounce back, but we need to hear more from Rogue Warriors.
Yes, we do. We're going to send over to Wendy, who's talking